The Chinese people, we are all farmers. The US Vice President once joked about the Chinese people, the peasant. I know in English, peasant is not a beautiful language. But you know what? We Chinese were never ashamed of being a farmer or peasant in our history. Because as we have talked about, farming is the bedrock of the whole Chinese civilization. The major struggle that we Chinese hold for 5,000 years is how to forest the land to support a growing population. And in return, this population can go back to work on the land generation and after generation. So that is the peasant, and we Chinese all peasant. That things well formed the Chinese at its core. The first very obvious character of Chinese, we are super sensitive and connective and tuned with the nature. Why is that like that? So imagine you are a farmer, you are growing things. You have to be super sensitive with the light, with the sun, with the water, with the soil, with the birds, with the bees, with the wind, with everything, because everything matters in farming. If one thing is getting wrong, the whole thing can be destroyed, and a year's work can gone, and the whole village cannot have enough food. So for sure, we are really respected to the nature. Everything on this nature matters to Chinese. And you know what? Physically, if you are a farmer, you're working in the land, you look it up, what it is. It's the sky. In the night, what it is the sky. It's the universe, it's the stars. And your feet are deeply rooted in the land. You feel it. So for Chinese, it's almost impossible to separate themselves from this environment. We have to live humbly with the land, with nature, with wind, with the sun. We don't have a choice. The second trait we Chinese get is we are super hardworking and diligent, as everybody knows. Why it's like that? So remember, we are farmers. In farming, certain time is super crucial, like spring planting, like autumn harvesting. If you miss just 1 or 2 days, everything changes. And that spring mistake, you take a day or 2 day off in the autumn, the whole family don't have enough food. So that for that cases, the Chinese people, when they realize something is super important, the whole village will work together day and night to make things done, because that is crucial. For that essence, even now, we Chinese people are super diligent. Every time we see the true need of anything, we work our ass off just to make things done. And is that something that we are proud of? No, because in modern society, one thing doesn't like the sun, the money. The money don't sleep, but the sun will, and we will. So super diligence can cause a burnout for the Chinese nation. That is how we are. The last character we Chinese people hold is we are naturally collectiveness over individualism. Why is like that? Because we are farmers. Remember, we are farmers, so we have together dealing with a lot of things. For example, the flood. Flood is not a kidding thing, because we Chinese are living near the river as a basin. So when the flood comes, not only the farmland gone and we are gone, in every civilization we will have stories about the flood. The Chinese version of the flood is the Yu, the greatest, work the ass off with the people to redirect the river, to fix the waterway, to protect the farmland. And that's the Chinese version of the flood. A group of people working together to reach places which is in harmony with the nature and also sustain the population. So that it is. And as you know, in China, in the ancient time, not only we build the Great Wall, we build rivers from Beijing to Shanghai. It takes million people for decades. And the Dujiangyan irrigation, it directly changes the southeast part of the China and support a much bigger population. So genetically, we farmers are collectiveness over individualism. And that is the beginning. So for now, why would China do all these crazy infrastructures, building highways in the rural area, in the Far East? Why we are doing all these things? Because we understand if something has its value, it takes one generation or 10 generations, it doesn't matter. We will gather together to work on that project together until one day the next generation, the generation after next generation will have it because it's important to do things. So in the Chinese genetic, we don't calculate in the short-term view. We calculate for generations. And that's who our Chinese are. We are super diligent, we are super connected with nature, and we are more collectiveness over individualism. You know what is the most valuable asset for our Chinese? First is our land. Then it's the people. Those who have this kind of people will eventually do something unbelievable. Love you.